Hey guys, and welcome to today's video where I thought I would give you guys an update on how all the animals are doing since we moved in. So I'm filming in the daytime because our light's technically on and they're all asleep. So here's Lyra, look at that. Do you know what? I use bottled water, it works fabulous. You know, it stays on the side of the walls so the geckos get a chance to drink, but it does leave a mark. And I know people have said use RO water, but then I read that's bad for plants. And look at the pothos. The pothos is doing well. I don't want to chance that. But one of the biggest changes, talking to the geckos, the biggest changes we've seen since moving is in Lyra. And I don't know if it's because she's closer to Drogo, but she will come out every night. I just go to see her and she's like, right, I'm coming out. She climbs all along the top of the structure that they're on and she goes to Drogo's tank. And I think, like, I know Chihuahuas and Crested Geckos can technically breed, although Chihuahuas are quite aggressive breeders, I wouldn't want to risk that. But she's like, okay, Drogo, I'm interested, and she'll walk along. The other night she walked along the wrong way, but she is just so full of energy. She's also eating insects. Like, Lyra would eat insects like maybe once a year. It was a rarity. I'd offer her insects, she's never interested, and then one day she randomly would be, and it's usually around the time she would be carrying eggs. So I don't know if it's that she can smell a male, thinks, oh, I'll be carrying eggs soon, I need to like get that weight on, and then she just eats insects. But she's been aggressively attacking like mealworms, crickets, even her own isopods. So a real big change in Lyra's behaviour. As for Drogo, he is right in the back, and basically, you see him just as back there. Since moving over here, I actually changed his UV to come on for about 10 hours a day. And when you have UV on that long, it does actually produce a little bit of heat. So his temperature does go up a little bit in the day, still in a safe amount, but a little bit. And he absolutely loves it because he will just lay under that UV, I guess for the UV and the heat. And in terms of what he's been doing, you know, he doesn't seem as crazy about Lyra. It's kind of awkward. But like, he never tries to get out of his tank to walk towards her, but I do find him in very strange positions sometimes. Now, down here we have Minnie, and in my video where I review people's tanks, I did show a little clip of Minnie, how she sleeps amongst the rocks, and she's actually doing that right now. So in terms of behaviour change I've seen in her, and I think this could be down to winter, I don't see her laying out as much under the UV and heat. But I think that is more down to slowing down, going in the dark more, going in the cold more. We'll see that a little bit more with Gizmo. But normally in spring and summer, she's out a lot more. So I don't know, I think it's more because it's getting cooler. But that's just what I've seen with her. But overall, she's doing well. And I actually weighed the geckos, obviously, at the end of November. And they are all actually better than their weight at the beginning of the year, so that's really well. And I think that's partly due to the fact that they didn't actually lay that many eggs this year, so I think they really bounced back well. I think the leopard geckos all settled in rather well once we moved. They really didn't notice much difference, but once again, due to the temperatures dropping, the air pressure dropping, the geckos are going into partial brumation. So Gizmo is actively taking herself off to the cold hide most days. Today is a rare day. And I try not to bug her too much. What I'll do is, say she's spending 2 days in the cold hide. One of the days I'll get her out, I'll check her and make sure she's okay. The other day I'll just lift the hide, check she's okay and put it back down, because I don't want to over disturb her, but I do want to check on her. She's eating a bit less than Minnie and Diego. But still eating, still a great weight, and just slowing down. And some people ask whether I, you know, put them actively in brumation, whether I'd recommend putting them in brumation. I don't. I think that they literally can go on air pressure. They're like barometers, and so that's kind of out of my hands. And when they do this and then they go through their cycle of laying eggs, that's probably why we produce so many eggs here, even though they've never been bred with, but I just let them get on with what they need to do. On top of Gizmo's tank we have the Isopod tub. This is all calcium powder. There's actually a clown one just here. Do you know what? Considering, oh, there's another one. Considering we only have 9, you see these everywhere. It's actually great to see. I honestly thought I'd put them in here and we'd lose them. Overall, all the wood lice in here are doing really well. Nothing really to update you on, but if you want to learn more about the clown isopods and how I set this up, I will link that video here. Then we have Diego. Now, if you remember when I did the Reptile Room tour, you know that we have plans for other tanks, and Diego's tank is going to be on a little platform, and then there'll be a gizmo tank on top, which will be an upgrade from what she's in now. Unfortunately, I think due to everything going on in the world right now, there have been delays, so we haven't been able to get that tank, but once we do, of course, I'll film setting it all up so you can see all of that, but we are missing... There will be 3 tanks in the future. Obviously, one of the tanks will be blank. It was meant to be for Ziggy. I know some people ask, you know, are you going to get another leopard gecko? I'm honestly not in the, like, I'm still very much wanting Ziggy. I haven't even really considered it. In terms of how Diego's doing, this is pretty normal for the daytime. I don't really see him, if I'm honest. He does just hide in there. And so I can imagine if you get a big tank like this, and then you don't see your gecko all day, you could be like, oh, they're not using the rest of the tank. But Diego definitely does at night. It's just, you know, with my geckos, because I know they sleep during the day and they're more active at night, I do tend to be up here in the evening, so I do get to see him when he's actually active. And it's funny because when I'm watering the tank, he gets so excited. He just watches me water the tank, and I think he thinks there's food, but he's just so animated. And you know, before we came over here, he was in his own room in this tank because the tank was so big. And when you'd walk in the room, he would be a little bit skittish. And I think it's because the only time someone was coming in that room was to see him. Whereas now, because I'm in and out of this room, I work in this room, we walk past the door because the door's always open. If he's out on that rock, he knows that every time someone goes past, that doesn't automatically mean they're going to open this door. And so he actually now lays there and observes us, watches us, and especially with using food and tongue feeding, it has helped build back that confidence in him. So this was obviously like a big change for him, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I'm offering him all this room that he can climb and explore if he wishes. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little quick update. I'm sure we'll do some more videos in the future. I know people really like the feeding videos. Let me know actually what you'd like to see in the new year, because I'm so ready for this year to be over. But I just wanted to give you guys an update because, you know, you might be moving and want to know, is anything going to change? Are my geckos even going to notice? And I definitely have seen a change, but probably for the better. So I'm really happy about that. Anyway, if you haven't already, please subscribe. But thank you for watching and goodbye.